welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a really nice cool toned look. I have not done a cool toned look in a really long time and I kind of miss it. Cool toned is so pretty and I tend to figure that all the time and go more warmer. I'm going to be starting out with this Too Faced Born This Way concealer in the shade Natural Beige. And I'm going to use this concealer to carve under my brows, and I'm going to do that with this Dose of Colors concealer brush. And I'm just following my natural brow shape, getting as close to the brow hairs as possible. Then I'm going to blend that out with this airbrush concealer brush by Cosmetics in collaboration with Ulta. Next, I'm going to be taking this Milk Makeup Cloud Glow Hydrating Primer. You guys, I've been extremely dry lately, and I think it's mainly because I also have been running out of my daily moisturizer. So I'm just going to use this on the skin to hydrate it nicely before I apply my foundation. I need to go grab more moisturizer for sure. While that settles into the skin, I'm going to grab the NARS Soft Matte Complete Foundation. Today I'm using the shade called huda. I do not know how to pronounce these names. So this is the shade name that I'm going to be using. You guys, I do not know how to pronounce this, but I'm going to be using this one. Now this shade is a little bit darker than Aruba. So I don't know if you guys watched my most recent video, but I was using the shade Aruba before this, and I just felt like Aruba was still too light. This shade is a little bit darker than Aruba. If it dried down a smidge darker, I feel like it would be perfect, but because it doesn't, I'm just like, okay, no, like this is just not gonna work for me. So I'm trying this shade because I feel like it should work. Now, I believe that Cadiz is another shade that I like, but Cadiz is too dark, I believe. And so here I am trying this one. So I'm gonna just blend this out with my Cosmetics No. 7 brush. Just tap this into the skin, blending this down the neck. And again, I like to do this in sections since this foundation does like to dry down pretty fast. And I like to make sure that I have enough time to blend everything out. I do feel like this shade does match me very well. I do feel like it's a smidge warm. I just need this same kind of tone, but like more neutral, not as warm, because I don't think it's too light or too dark necessarily. It just needs to be the right undertone to match my vibe. I believe NARS does label this as a neutral, but I don't know if NARS took away some of their shades, because I went to Sephora and I went to Sephora.com and I did not see some of the shades, and I don't know if it's on their main website, but yeah, they need to go and bring it back. Next, I'm going to be taking the Too Faced Born This Way concealer in the shade Natural Beige again, and I'm going to be using this on my face as well. So I'm just going to apply it here. This one is more of a warmer concealer, but I do like this one. I usually go for more neutral concealers, but this one in particular, I don't know what it is about the shade, but I just love the shade even though it's more on the warmer side. And I'm just gonna put it in my usual spots, my forehead and under my eyes and above my lip. While that concealer is sitting on my face, I'm gonna be taking the Huda Beauty Tantour Contour and Bronzer Cream. This one is in the shade Medium. I actually have never used this before, so I am excited to try it out and see how it goes. I did end up picking this color Medium. Looks like it will be like pretty perfect for my skin tone, but let's just see. I'm going to be using the Sephora 56 brush. I'm just going to like gently grab a little bit of this, and I'm just going to start along the hairline. And yeah, I can tell kind of already that I'm going to like the shade. Just going to grab some of this and put it along the hairline, blend it into my hairline, but also blend out the edges. So far, so good. It looks really pretty on the skin. I can definitely tell that it's also buildable. Like I'm able to definitely build this up if I want to. I'm also definitely making sure that I'm just grabbing a little at a time because I don't want to go too crazy with this. I'm also gonna grab some right here. Did put a little bit too much on that side, so I'm gonna start on this side. I'm gonna grab just a little bit more. After that, I'm gonna take my Cosmetics No. 7 brush again and just blend out that concealer that has been sitting. And then whatever is left over on my Sephora 56 brush, I will put along the sides of my nose. Now I'm going to grab the e.l.f. Camo Concealer, the matte finish one, in the shade Medium Neutral. And I like to brighten a little bit. Now this concealer is not as warm as the Too Faced one, but that's totally fine. I personally like mixing the two together, layering them because they look so great together. So I'm just gonna add the e.l.f. one here along the sides of my nose, and then add it right here too as well, just to brighten that inner corner a little bit. And I am gonna let this concealer sit a little bit as well. I really do like the way this tantour looks. It looks so pretty. I really like how it looks. Like it does have like a nice balance of warm and cool. To blend out the concealer, I'm gonna be using this dual-ended brush by Tarte. I'm gonna be using the angle side at the top here. And I'm just going to start by tapping this into the skin, blending this out, blending this along the sides of my nose. Such a pretty balance with the warm and such a pretty balance with Now for blush, I'm going to be using the new Morphe Cheek Thrills Multi-Finish Base Trio in the shade Aprés Ski, which looks like this. So pretty. I'm going to be using all three, but I'm going to be starting with the cream first. I'm going to be taking the shade on a Morphe M204 brush. And I'm just going to take this blush and I'm going to apply it right to the cheekbones and tap this into the skin. I like to apply it right pretty much above my bronzer, but also blending it into the cream bronzer a little bit while also blending it into that concealer that we put on as well. So pretty. I love this color. It's such a pretty pink, definitely wearable. To me, this color kind of makes me feel like I should be on vacation. I don't know why, but I'm obsessed with this color. Now I'm going to be setting everything in place. So I'm going to be using first my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish powder. I like to use a pressed powder first. I'm using the shade number 2. Then I'm also going to go in with the Huda Beauty loose baking powder. I'm going to be using the shade Peach Pie today. Now these two products are my favorite. Like I love to use my faves. And honestly, I've been in a funk with my makeup lately because it just has not been eating like I know it can. So we're going to try to change that by using my faves and just seeing like, is it me? Is it because I'm not using my favorites, or is it the other products I'm trying out, you know? What is it? I need to know. So that's what I'm trying to figure out right now. I'm gonna basically go underneath the eyes here with my concealer brush and just make sure that it's not creasing before I set it. Then I'm gonna go in with the Charlotte Tilbury powder with the Real Techniques 402 brush first and set that in place. And I'm also gonna put the powder on the other areas where I place my concealer, so right above the lip here, as well on the forehead. Then I'm gonna take a Huda Beauty powder puff, taking Peach Pie, and just kind of swirling that on the back of my hand so I get an even amount of powder, and setting this as well with the Huda powder. Now I'm gonna be taking my one size Turn Up the Base powder in the shade Medium Dark 1. And I'm gonna set the areas where I only put liquid foundation. I'm using this Morphe M163 brush. I'm just gonna tap that right into the skin. To add warmth to the skin, I'm going to be using the MAC Skinfinish Sunstruck Matte Bronzer in the shade Deep Rosy. And I'm also going to finish off with the MAC Mineralize Skinfinish in the shade Gold Deposit to give it a glow. Grabbing a bit of this, and I'm going to put this right on top of that Tantour by Huda Beauty just to warm it up a little bit more and set it in place. I'm going to take the same product and put it right along the sides of my nose. I'm using this MAC 286 brush to apply it. And now for the brows, I'm going to be using the MAC Cosmetics Pro Brow Definer Pencil in the shade Stud. I'm going to start out with brushing up the brows. And I'm going to just softly fill in the brows with light strokes. Now I'm going to add this Benefit Cosmetics Fluff Up Brow Wax to the brows to keep them in place all day. Now going back in with this Morphe Cheek Thriller, I'm gonna go ahead and take the powder side now. And I'm gonna be applying this with the Morphe M201 brush. And I'm gonna put the powder right on top of that cream that we put on earlier from the Face Trio palette. Last but not least, I'm gonna take the kind of like highlighter part. I would say it's kind of like a cream highlighter. And I like to dab it on the back of my hand first, just in case I grab too much product on the puff. Next, we're gonna get into the eyes. So I'm gonna be using the Huda Beauty Icy Nude Eyeshadow Palette for that cool toned look. I'm gonna first go in with this shade called Unapologetic. I'm gonna take that shade using a Morphe M514 brush. I'm just gonna place this shade right by the lash line in the outer corner area. And to blend this out, I'm just going to be using circular motions along the edges to help me blur it out as much as possible. Also added a bit in the front here. Next, I'm going to take in this color called High Life. Taking this color High Life on a Morphe M573 brush. I'm going to use this to kind of use as a soft transition shade just to further blur that first color. Now I'm going to go back in with that first color, Unapologetic, just to bring it back to life since it got a little washed out by that lighter shade. Next, I'm going to take this color called She Rich, and I'm just going to slowly blend this shadow up into the crease on the outer corner here. Next, I'm going to take this color called One Self. Using this Laura Mercier all over eye brush, I'm going to be putting this right here in the front to kind of brighten up the eye. And I'm actually going to mix that with the shade Poised as well, because I kind of don't want it that bright. And then for sure put that shade One Self in the inner corner here. Next, I'm going to take the shade called Platinum. Taking that on a Sephora 14 brush, I'm going to also spray my brush with some setting spray, just so that it gets the product moving a little bit and it's kind of sticks better. But I'm gonna grab that shimmer and place it right at the corner here, like kind of like where the dark shades are blending in with the lighter shades. Now I'm going to add all of those crease colors on the bottom part of my eye, starting with the shade She Rich. I'm going to take that with a Morphe M382 brush, and I'm just going to smudge that right underneath here. Now I'm going to smudge that out with the Unapologetic shade using this Morphe M506 brush. Just smudging that right underneath. Next, I'm going to be using the Huda Beauty Creamy Kohl Pencil in the shade Very Brown. And I'm going to put this right in my waterline. And now going in with the NYX Cosmetics Epic Ink Liner in the shade Black. And I'm just going to line my lid. And I'll make sure to blend that into the shadow as well. I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, I finished the eyes off camera. I will have all the details, of course, down below as usual. I really like how the eyes turned out. I added some gems and lashes, mascara, love it. And now I'm going to do the lip. I do want a more cool toned lip to go with this look. Pretty much the only thing that isn't cool toned about this look is the blush. The blush doesn't look as cool, but I think it's a nice pop to go with a cool look. But yeah, we're gonna do the lips now. So I'm gonna start with the Kylie Cosmetics lip liner in the shade Stone. And then I'm gonna layer this liner with the MAC liner in the shade Chestnut. For lipstick, I'm gonna be using MAC Cosmetics lipstick in the shade Folio, which is like a nice cool grayish nude. For gloss, I'm gonna go in with this Huda Beauty gloss in the shade Ooh Baby. Okay guys, this is the finished look. I absolutely love how it turned out. This reminds me a lot of Aaliyah. Her cool tone makeup looks were so cool back in the early 2000s, and it also just gives me like outer space vibes a little bit too. I really love this lip as well. I definitely will be wearing the MAC lipstick Folio a lot more. It's just such a pretty cool toned nude, and I'm obsessed with this. My first time wearing it, and I just absolutely love it. All the details of this look will be down below in the description box for you guys, of course. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!